Inject the Coke. Inject the ketchup. Inject the chocolate. Inject the strawberries. Inject the peanut butter. Inject the coffee. Inject the makeup. Inject the orange. Inject the matcha. Inject the water. Inject the blueberries. Inject the gumball. Inject the pumpkin. Inject the Legos. Inject my bank account. Inject the gunpowder. Inject the redstones. Inject the XP. Inject the wool. Inject the golden apple. Inject the rotten flesh. Inject the bones. Inject the spider. Inject the diamond. Inject the pork chop. Inject the feathers. Inject the ender pearls. Inject the dirt. Inject the black egg. Inject the alien body parts. Inject the space melons. Inject the space sharks. Inject the cosmic cubes. Inject the alien pugs. Inject the peach rings. Inject the moon clouds. Inject the alien eggs. Inject the lemon stars. Inject the cosmic crunches. Inject the silver. Inject my bank account. Inject the Slurpee. Inject the plushie. Inject the mud. Inject the peptides. Inject the diamonds. Inject the orange juice. Inject the berries. Inject the toothpaste. Inject Skidaby toilet. Inject Ken. Inject Barbie. Inject the blood. Inject the onions. Inject the nuts. Inject the candy in V8. Inject the imposter. Inject the sticky stuff. Inject the rock. Inject the pickles. Inject the cat. Inject the sour candy. Inject Grimace. Inject the pink stuff. Inject the green stuff. Inject the grass. Inject the silver. Inject the toothpaste. Inject the watermelon. Inject the soy sauce. Inject the rose gold. Inject the flowers. Inject the pomegranate. Inject the Skittles. Inject my bank account. Inject the red stuff. Inject the matcha. Inject the flowers. Inject the clay. Inject Kanye pepper. Inject the lemon juice. Inject the avocado. Inject the cucumber. Inject the gold. Inject the candy. Inject the rubies. Inject the pearls. Inject the purple diamonds. Inject the emerald. Inject the rose gold. Inject the silver. Inject the gold. Inject the diamonds. Inject my bank account. Inject the dirt. Inject the Orbeez. Inject the Kool-Aid Man. Inject the bathwater. Inject the edamame. Inject the underwear. Inject the zesty orange. Inject my boy Pocky. Let's inject a radioactive looking substance. Inject the concoction. Inject the skincare. Inject the makeup. Inject the bathwater.